First, we invested in having all current employees take the Clifton Strengths Finder. When I heard we'd be doing this, I was geeked out. I love psychological inventories and hadn't done one since the Myers-Briggs type indicator in high school. How many of you are familiar with the Myers-Briggs? Despite the MBTI having been dismissed as pseudoscience over the years, I smiled recently to see a young person's profile on LinkedIn who had listed where they fall on the 4 personality scales. I debated messaging this total stranger, "Hi, I'm an ENFP. Would you like to connect?" That's not creepy, is it? If you aren't familiar with the Strengths Finder, or Clifton Strengths as it's called now, this questionnaire helps you uncover your unique combination of 34 strengths in 4 domains. The methodology is to present 177 paired statements for which you must choose the one that better describes you. For example, I am a sensitive person versus I am a logical person. And this drove me nuts. Can't I be both at the same time? Taking Clifton Strengths the first time, I was torn between many of the pairs, wanting neither to mark myself neutral, which I feared would read as disengaged, nor choose a statement, only to contradict myself the next time it was presented in a slightly different way. When our responses were scored, at the time, we could see only our top 5 strengths. Now, Clifton offers the ability to see all 34. A strengths coach came in and met with us as a group and then with each of us individually. Our coach Maggie was memorable not only for her resemblance, both physically and in temperament, to my big sister, but also for a comment she made that I laughed off as a joke. Maggie took one look at my top 5: responsibility, input, learner, achiever, relator, and said, "Holy crap, girl! How do you get out of bed every morning?" Looking back, she was being sincere and inviting me to talk about the tension of 1, feeling responsible for everything, 2, wanting to know everything, and 3, expecting myself to achieve at a high level every day. I wasn't ready to acknowledge that conflict in me yet, much less have a frank conversation about it. Our leadership found Clifton Strengths valuable enough that they not only posted everyone's results on a spreadsheet in the break room, but made it a mandatory first day activity for new hires. I found myself wishing we would have candidates take the assessment as part of the interview process, so we could use the results to select persons whose strengths would best complement our existing team. I see here that in our entire organization, not one of us has focus or discipline as a top 5 strength. Do you think maybe we should recruit for that? I jumped for joy the day that a focus joined the company, as a QA engineer, no less. She worked in QA about a year before she was promoted to project management. I personally found the strength tool so valuable that I recently took it a second time. Now, Gallup, who owns Clifton Strengths, will tell you that there is no need to take it twice, that your first assessment will yield the purest and most revealing results. They'll tell you that taking the assessment more than once may actually decrease the accuracy of your results. Now, with all due respect to an organization that knows a thing or two about polling adults, that notion is a heap of garbage. At least, that's true if you are a battle tested veteran who took the assessment early in your career and want to take it again. You may find, like I did, that your intrinsic strengths don't vary too much over time. Sure, some strengths may fall out of your top 5 and others bubble up from your top 10, as strategic did for me. And if life has demanded that you draw on strengths you never knew you possessed, some of the bigger movers may surprise you. Or perhaps you will realize that through deliberate cultivation of strengths that helped you get the job done, your tool set has expanded. I had my daughter take Clifton Strengths when she turned 17 because I wanted her to know and to be able to discuss her strengths with others. When my partner, a freelance software architect, lost a bid with a major business when the COVID pandemic hit, and then spent 2 years struggling to find any work, I invited him to take the assessment, as much to remind him of his strengths as to gain insight into them. He told me that when he finished what he assumed to be the first 180 odd questions, he was shocked that the test did not continue with, "Now identify your weaknesses." Before my partner and I moved in together, I made a comparison chart of our strengths because, yes, I am that much of a geek. My son turned 16 in March. He will be getting his Clifton Strengths invitation the same day he spends his first part time wages on gas for his car.